Our next video is on still going through Hebrews chapter 11, the faith of Moses. This is what we read in verse 24. Hebrews 11 verse 24, by faith Moses, when he became of age, refused to be called the son of Pharaoh's daughter. This takes us back then in the actual book of Exodus to Exodus chapter pick it up from verse 9. And Pharaoh's daughter said to her, "Take this child away and nurse him for me, and I will give you wages." And of course that was to Moses' mother, Jochebed. Pharaoh's daughter found the child, found Moses in the reeds, and then Miriam of course came and said, "Do you want me to go and find one of the Hebrew women?" Verse 7. "She may nurse the child for you." Pharaoh's daughter agreed, and of course she went and got Jochebed. Verse 9, so the woman took the child and nursed him. The child grew, and she brought him to Pharaoh's daughter, and he became her son, and she named him Moses, which comes from the Hebrew word for thrown out. And she said, "Because I drew him out of the water." It's verse 11 that we want to pick it up. And it came about in those days when Moses had grown up, that he went out to his brethren and looked on their hard labors. It's this expression, when Moses had grown up. And at this point, the Hebrews chapter 11 sort of kicks in. He refused to be called the son of Pharaoh's daughter. And we know that Moses was privileged. He was a strong young man, Hebrew within, but fully Egyptian without. He would easily pass for the up-and-coming Pharaoh. But when Moses reached adulthood, a dramatic change took place. The phrase, when he had grown up, in Hebrews chapter 11, literally means having become great. So Moses, having become great, then makes a decision. This is what we read here in verse 11. He went out to his brethren and looked on their hard labors. Moses came to the first major fork in the road when he had become great, and he had to make a choice. He had to decide whether he allowed the Egyptians to call him the Pharaoh elect. He had to decide between the seen and the unseen. Firmly he made that choice. Literally, the expression refused to be called the son of Pharaoh's daughter, literally as he denied it to be said the son of Pharaoh's daughter. Now, we don't actually know how he did it. Did he stand up in the court of Pharaoh and declare his allegiance to the Israelites? We're not told. Again, we speculate, but we know from the Bible that he did do that. He did refuse to be called the son of Pharaoh's daughter. Moses' decision, of course, reminds us of Daniel, who centuries later stood alone in the pagan royal court, the Hebrew through and through, yet surrounded by a Babylonian lifestyle. I remember Daniel chapter 1, verse 8, he refused to eat the king's food. Daniel showed his allegiance first and foremost to a believer in the true God, the God of Israel, Yahweh. And Daniel saying, "He has my allegiance, my unqualified loyalty. I will live for his glory, and if necessary, I will die for his honor." But here we see that Moses' first decision came when he grew up. And remember that he had a high position in the court, and yet he was able to acknowledge and refuse the lure of the Egyptians and its richness and its vastness. Instead, we'll go on another time to look at the next few verses. But here we see he refused to be called the son of Pharaoh's daughter. Thank you for listening.